was watching.
No, yeah, I will do. We might be live, we might not be live. Let's see if anything comes on. I mean, this isn't the normal dashboard. Right, so we're there. And we need the other dashboard on, don't we? Okay. No, we are here. It's normally got a thing for. Can anyone hear us? Right. 1, 2, right, we're there.
You click the eye on the...
It's the thingy, isn't it? So, okay, just bear with us, bear with. Click that off. Hello, can you hear and see us? Hello, good evening. I'm with Billy.
Hello.
You don't normally see Billy. Billy's normally hiding behind the camera.
Yeah.
Or editing. Just give us a quick thumbs up or a quick yes if you can see us and hear us. That would be very nice. It looks like you can hear us. It's bouncing. The picture looks good. Let's see. Let's see. Yes, well done. There we go. Nice. Yeah, right. Okay, we are live. Like I say, here's Billy. This is Billy.
Hello, everyone.
You've done a live with me before in the summer, didn't you?
Yeah, I think maybe once or twice, maybe.
He's normally thrown over there, out the way, but Ped's got a dog issue. Today, he's had to take his dog to the vet to get some tablets or whatever he's doing. His dog's got a limp, hasn't he, apparently?
Yeah.
So he's got to sort his dog out, so we are here. Just before we start, Bill, good win last night.
It was a good win, yeah. I'm not sure about the performance, though. It was a bit of a, especially the first half, was a bit disappointing, I think. But a win's a win, and quarterfinals of the cup is always good. So
that's it, isn't it? It wasn't a very good performance. Certainly the first half. I thought the second half was a lot better, but in the cups, I suppose the big thing is just getting through. No use playing brilliant and getting beat.
No.
But we're looking. Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. Ped's dog has got hip problems. I don't think it had. It's a trapped nerve or something, he said.
Running up the stairs too much.
Maybe. That was something that we had that conversation the other week, didn't we, about the dogs and running upstairs. Yeah, we all want to see a performance. We all want to see the team progressing in a certain way. Yeah. At the moment, it just feels a little bit like we can't get any kind of pattern or rhythm going to the play, doesn't it?
I think last night as well, I was sort of half expecting a performance like the West Ham game. So I thought everyone would be really up for it and sort of potentially Silva's last game. But it wasn't quite that. But it wasn't that, was it?
No.
So,
no.
Yeah.
It was flat. It was flat. Tom says, Baz, have you heard of Jockey Meal? Yes. Big fan of his. Shame he signed a new contract recently. We'll add 10 million to the asking price. Would love him at us to replace Coleman. Yeah, right full-back, isn't he? Me and the Piv had a chat about him actually in the summer. Looked a really good player. I was surprised he signed a new deal. He would have been good. But we're just saying on the news today, Schalke wanting to keep John Joe Kenny after this season because he's done so well. It's early days, of course, but do you see him as someone who could come back in at Everton's main right back, or do you think Everton would probably be looking to buy one?
I think we do need a right back. It depends what sort of level he's at now. I think because Coleman seems like the best days are behind him, and Sidibe's done well, but he's a bit reckless defensively.
Yeah.
You know, he's good going forward, but maybe just almost like he tries too hard at times. So it'll be interesting to see what Kenny's like when he comes back, or if he does come back, to see if he can fill in. I think he's probably not too far off at the moment. He's starting in the Bundesliga all the time. So it'll be interesting to see where he's at.
Yeah, true. Very, very true. Where are we? Glenn Watson says, yes, Billy, like a young Moise Kean, was hoping to see him, hoping to see him get more starts for live at 5. There he is. He is like Moise. You've been waiting, haven't you, like Kean?
Yeah, hopefully I don't go off at half-time. Right?
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, that wouldn't be great. I mean, if I was Silver, you'd be sat on the chair over there where you weren't really involved.
Yeah.
That's how we treat you. Jamie B, sorry, Baz, I know you're the only supporter of Silver, but I think he's got to go if we get beat by Spurs. Listen, I like to back me managers, and I feel as though we're still, I'm not convinced we're at the stage where we've been Silver, but what I would say is we can't lose many more Premier League games. We really can't, and because something has to change. And if we lose the next 2, then I can't defend them. So it is what it. I mean, what's your view on Marco?
Obviously, I'd like to see him do well and turn it around, but I don't know. I feel like it's not going to get better in the long term. I don't think. Okay. Sadly. He probably doesn't deserve to be sacked now, especially after winning last night, but I think he'll go eventually. Sadly, yeah.
It has got that feeling at the moment of it's a case of when, not if now.
Yeah.
That's how it feels, and that's me.
Yeah.
But I don't know, but that's certainly how it feels. It does feel like it's a case of when and not if.
Yeah.
Which is quite rubbish, to be fair, when you're trying to get behind something. If you feel like you're always one game away from being back to that point where you're talking about replacing the manager, it's not a good position to be in, and that feels like where we are now. It's like we beat West Ham and it was like, all right, let's see how we go the next few games. And then to lose at Brighton, you feel like you're back to square one. We beat Watford, it's irrelevant, that almost to me, because Sunday becomes a big game. We lose Sunday, you start then having to say, well, how long do you keep going? We'll see what we're like next week. Do you know what I mean? We've got the international break coming up.
Yeah.
In 10 days' time, for 2 weeks. That may be when they look at his position, because we'll have played 12 games then. If we've lost 8 of those 12, I don't see how we can stay.
No, I think the frustrating thing is as well that with the league how it is, like the level of the Everton team doesn't have to step up that much to be in a much better position.
Oh God, yeah. Well, what are they? 3 points off 7th?
Yeah.
Which shows you how tight it is.
A lot of the teams just aren't very good, and just a few wins and we'd be fine, I think.
Yeah. It's getting the situation where you know that your base performance is going to be good enough to get draws at least, and then when you play to your ability, you'll win most of the games. I look at the top 3, Liverpool, the best team at the moment. I think City, obviously, will be up there with Liverpool. Leicester are flying. Whether that continues, I don't know. They're brilliant at the minute, so we'll see. And then, for me, the next best team after that would be Spurs overall. But if Everton beat them on Sunday, Everton are above them. So you have to give Chelsea then. Yeah. They've won 7 on the spin, so they're flying. So it seems to be below them. It's anyone, isn't it? Yeah. Arsenal are very similar to Everton. They got more points, but they win a game. You think they're on a good run now, and then they lose at Sheffield United, draw at home with Palace. There's nobody that is really outside your top 3 at the minute, and Chelsea maybe the top 4. No one outside of them are putting any consistency together whatsoever.
Yeah, I think like you said, I think you've got the top 2 in Liverpool and Manchester City, and then I'd put Leicester and Chelsea as sort of another
The
two
next,
behind
yeah,
them.
yeah.
But then apart from that, I think it's everyone's
Much
sort
of
of
a
fairly
muchness,
mixed.
innit?
Some teams have more quality than others, but not really showing it at the moment. Teams like Arsenal and Man United and Spurs, obviously, and even Everton, I guess.
Well,
So-
I've watched Everton for a number of years, obviously, and we've had some much worse sides than we've got now, much worse, and done much better. And so that tells me that the plan has to be clearer. The players have to step up and perform, because once Everton work hard, the ability level takes over. Which you see at Goodison. They can't transform that away from home, and that's where the real issue is. The home form's not bad. They win most games at home. It's away from home and that. But then again, that's where your good teams rise, because they can go and play the same way away from home as they do at home. I don't think Everton do that. Everton go away and try to control games. I'd give the opposition the ball and hit them on the play on the counter attack, because I think we're much better on the counter attack.
Yeah, I think that's an issue with the manager and how he sets us up away from home, and perhaps the players not being as motivated away from home, which is again probably an issue with the manager not really pushing them.
But that's fair comment. But when you cross that white line as a player, it shouldn't matter who stood on the touchline. It shouldn't do. You're playing for yourself, aren't you? You shouldn't be.
Yeah.
You know, I'd never listened to a manager in my life. Once I'd crossed that white line, listen to a word anyone said on the side, because it was about you being able to play your game. Obviously, shape and stuff, yeah, but players being able to pass a ball or being able to run a bit faster or battle a bit harder should come down to what's inside you.
But then I think if they're just not as motivated, even if it's just subconsciously, like there's some managers who we know, well, you'd think are a lot more inspiring than Marco Silva is. You think, well, you know, like we have to say like Jurgen Klopp, you know, I don't know, even someone like Pochettino, they're just, but Silva doesn't really.
No, but then Spurs have lost 18 games in 2019, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he's under pressure. You know, hang on, if Everton beat them on Sunday, Everton are above them. What does that say for him?
Yeah.
His team got to, where were they, fourth he finished, didn't he, or third or fourth. They got to European Cup final. Since then, they've been absolutely awful. Battered at Brighton, beaten 7-2 at home in the Champions. You know, it's how much longer he can hang on. Now, I'm not saying he should be under pressure, but naturally for them, they finished the season thinking, we've got to the Champions League final. They could have won the Champions League final. Liverpool didn't play particularly well that night. And would they have been the way they are this season still? Where Liverpool have just gone and carried on. City have not as well as Liverpool, but still carried that on. Where Tottenham have nosedived. You've seen all the talk about Ericsson and Vertonghen's misses or Aldo, whoever it was. They're all have, you know, definitely footballers' wives going on at Spurs, or so it seems. And Pochettino's in the middle while it's all burning behind him.
Yeah.
So, is it just a case with Spurs that he's gone through that cycle with those players that maybe what they really needed to do was refresh that up with? I know they've brought in Ndombele in and Lo Celso, but they've not really done anything either. So
No, I think they're suffering from not spending in the summer like last year and not freshening the team up. A lot of their players, I think, are maybe past their prime. If you look at the centre-backs and Lloris and Ericsson and
Danny Rose
haven't really got a decent right-back either. So I think they've probably got different problems to Everton, I think.
Oh, well, yeah. They have. Well, they win games for a start.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit different to us. Stephen Kelly says, all right, lads, win is a win. And we got it. I think the criticism of Moise Kean has been disgusting. He's only 19, we have to give him time. Hasn't worked out yet, but it will come good. I mean, I've seen a little bit of this on Twitter with some people calling him crap and blah, blah, blah. But for me, he was playing right wing, which is a waste of a player anyway. You can quite clearly see his confidence levels aren't what they should be.
No.
You know, he's trying a new country, trying to make his way in the Premier League. He's doing that classic thing that players do sometimes when they come to a new team, is trying to prove that they're a good player, so they think doing 80-12 step overs and stuff like that is going to help them.
No.
I mean, what's your take on it?
I don't think he's played enough for people to really have an opinion on him yet, to be honest, especially at just 19, for people just to be calling him out as just being useless. It's like, I just don't think he's played enough for... He's hardly started. He's only started a few games, and then when he has played, he's hardly got the ball. The same with Calvert-Lewin. When he plays up front, he hardly has any touches. So just to write him off already, I just think it's daft, really. But at the same time, I think it was the wrong decision to take him off at half-time, even though Walcott did do well when he came on. I think we would have won the game anyway, to be honest.
I mean, Walcott did make a big difference last night. He gave us that natural shape. I think maybe... Yeah. I think the problem with Kean is when he's played up front, it's been with the static midfield. So he's played with Sigurdsson, who likes the crop circles on the right-hand side, doesn't really move. And we've got Schneiderlin, who doesn't come out of his own half. You know, and we've had Delph in there with Schneiderlin, who stands next. And there's been no one to feed the ball through, where now, the way we've changed slightly, with Iwobi in that position, and lots of energy, and he likes the through ball. Iwobi loves a little through ball. I think Kean would benefit more playing through the middle with Alex Iwobi behind him as opposed to Sigurdsson. Yeah. And we've not really seen that so far.
And you look at last night, like, there was a bit where Richarlison should have played him through. And I think he would have scored. And then one with Iwobi, who nearly got the ball through. So there's two chances there. So if he'd taken them, then you're looking at 2 goals and everyone would be saying it was a great performance. So
yeah. They would. Yeah. Fans are... Listen, we are fickle anyway, aren't we? Gary Ward, it's great to talk about a win. Kane, in the half for the next round, happy days. Hate the build-up for the draw. I am nervous for it. You're nervous for it because you know we're getting Liverpool at Anfield. That's why you're nervous, be honest. Owen Park says, hey lads, I think despite the result last night, Marco has to go.
Shut up, Owen.
We are not building anything. Get a new manager in to give us a chance. Owen, they're not going to sack the manager when he's just won a game, are they? You Sean Dyche lover. Steve Kelly says, hope the orange trails are going down a treat, lads. Paul Cattrall says, nice to get a win last night. Second half was much better, a bit more luck. And that's 4 to 5 goals we get last night. I mean, he's right with the woodwork twice, didn't we? And had 2 off the line. Suppose you can say the same about other games. Luck not going our way. Said in the summer, and I'll say it again, Kean needs time to develop and find his feet in English football. Shout out to Theo Walcott for changing the game. And Mark Guillermo, I always forget it, Mark, sorry.
Lil Mo.
Listen, don't you be trying to give me advice on how to say things. Even the lads appreciate all the content in the past 48 hours. Which of the following is the most reasonable request? Switch to a 4-3-3 so Kean can actually play at least close to his actual centre-forward position. Correct. Ask the 19-year-old to learn a whole new position and a whole new formation on top of everything else he has to learn. Or 3, loan him to a team on the continent who's actually competing for something. It'd be A for me. Number 1 for me, Mark, which would actually play him where he plays. It's not really, it's not recreating something new. Is it just play the lad where he plays? Might help. But there you go. On YouTube, loads of comments here on YouTube. Let's have a look where we are.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Where did I read up to here? Yes, Billy. Tom Baz, have you heard anything regarding signs in January? Any positions you know we're looking at? Only thing I've heard is they're looking for a centre-back. It's the only thing. I haven't heard anything more, nothing specific yet. It's more like November time, end of November, start getting the bits and pieces. But it's not surprising for the centre-back situation, is it? Sophie Gallagher says Seamus Coleman is finished, needs to be kept away from the first team. Okay. AJ now says, how long do you think we'll give Silver if we lose on Sunday?
I don't know. I think with the Spurs game, though, that we're not really expected to win that. Haven't beaten Spurs since December 2012.
That is abysmal. It's absolutely abysmal. Sorry, Bill, I'm not. You're not the manager. I'm not shouting at you deliberately, but to have records like this is nonsense. Yeah. In my opinion, absolutely nonsense. I know they're like one of our bogeys, particularly at Goodison. We've beaten everybody else more in the Premier League than Tottenham, I think, at Goodison. They're just one of those sides we struggle with. But if we beat them at the weekend, we go above them. So normally they come flying to us, don't they? But I know they were okay, certainly for about 50 minutes at Anfield last week, and then Liverpool got on top of them and ultimately won the game. But they're coming into this game not in great form.
Yeah.
I know we aren't, but come on, we shouldn't be. What, mate?
2 minutes they were on top of the score.
Well, he should have gone 2-0 up. That's all I saw.
Yeah, I
But
think
the goalkeeper did get man of the match, so quite clearly Liverpool had a lot of chances.
11 saves, lad.
I think on Sunday it depends on the manner of, if it is a defeat, I think it depends on the manner of the defeat. If it's, you know, a close game and Everton play well, you can say, yeah, we'll stick with Silver for a bit longer. But if it's, you know, 6-0,
Oh,
and it's
come
just
on,
awful,
Billy,
then-
6-0, stop it.
Well, you know, it was 6-2 last year.
And we could have been 2-0 up in that game last year with the goal to
Yeah.
Salah, didn't we, at 1-0. I think if we were to lose on Sunday, I don't know whether they'd get rid of him before the international break, but they may make a decision on Sunday night if we were to lose to Tottenham. How can you spend the money we've spent and lose 7 games in the first 11 and keep your job?
Yeah,
Really, it's a tough one to argue the case for him, really.
yeah,
I think we all just want to, don't we all just want us to start winning games and let everything settle down? It's so frustrating that we're still talking about the manager situation. And but it does, you said before, and it's right, it does have that feeling that it's one of them things that are going to keep revisiting every week or every other week. It's annoying.
yeah.
Tom, Baz, have you heard anything more on the Shakhtar Donetsk scout who was meant to be joining? I haven't. It came a little bit out the blue, didn't it? But it was come from a couple of good sources, so maybe they're just trying to finalise everything there. Where are we? Video and stuff says Billy tells it like it is. Fair play. Is right. Toothy Orifice says potatoes for everyone. Tom says Iwobi being in the number 10 role instead of Sigurdsson has made so much difference. Someone who actually can move. Correct. Mark Guelmio says Gylfi is no better than dried salted cod at this point. Maybe a bit harsh. Jamie B says, I agree with Backham, but for me, I think it's clear he's not going to be here next season because the club has come out and said he's got 3 games. And OJ, listen, it like I've just said before, it's starting to feel like it's almost inevitable because we can't seem to get any kind of run going. We can't seem to get, it's not even like, even the results at times, you can almost look past them sometimes if you see they're playing this way. It's a good pattern of play. They play similar every week. And some weeks you're hitting the post and it's not going for you. Like I said on the final word, the Brighton game in isolation, you could take that in isolation and go, we were unlucky, we were robbed by VAR, we were this, we were that. But
Yeah.
when it becomes part of this bigger thing where you're just losing games, the last 4 away games, you know, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Burnley, Brighton, we've lost all 4 against those 4 teams.
Yeah.
You know, it's not good. For me, it isn't good enough.
No.
I
think as well, like I was saying before, you don't want to get in a situation where games like last night in the West Ham game are sort of papering over the cracks of losing, you know, 4 out of the last 5 league games.
Yeah.
So
it's grim, isn't it? It's grim. Barry Stevens says, I've been a supporter of Silva, but that first hour yesterday versus the bottom team's reserves was shocking. I think I'm now swayed to the other side. I have no confidence in him to make the team consistent. That's the thing, isn't it, Barry? It's you need a belief.
plug that in.
Oh, yeah. You need a belief in what you're doing. You need a belief in what the team's doing. We need to be able to look at it and go, I see where we're going here. And it looks like everything's rolling on one after the other. It looks as though, you know, the performances are getting better, the shape's there, we know what he's doing. It's just frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating that it does seem to be like 1 step forward and 2 back.
Yeah.
It's no good. And to me, there's been no real excuse for it. We've had the money. I know he's been a little bit unlucky with Gabaman and obviously Bernard's injured now and stuff like that. But it's still it just doesn't seem to be working at the minute. And he needs to find that formula very, very quickly. Otherwise, he is going to find himself out of a job. End of story. Where are we here? Mark says Kean isn't supposed to be doing what he's being asked to do. Yes, his first touch could improve, but up until Everton, his first touch was in a position to shoot 10 shots on target for Juve, 6 goals last season. You're right, he's not in the right position. End of story. Livevid says, I don't think Silva's the right man for the job, but as I've not got a crystal ball, I would not sack him. The director should have a plan, and I would like to think they are sourcing managers right now. Mark says, Team Arteta. Tom says, Baz, would you give Holgate a run of games next to Mina? Absolutely, Tom. Again, Michael Kean, someone I stuck up for last season, and I thought he had a really good season last season next to Zuma, but I think he started the season really poorly, and is struggling massively with confidence. So I think if you get Mina fit, and hopefully, fingers crossed, he's going to be okay for the weekend, I'd have him and Holgate and just say, you're the centre-backs now for the next few games. It's up to you two to make it your own.
Yeah, I think they complement each other quite well with Holgate's pace, because both Mina and Keane are quite slow on the turn. Like Mina's quite quick once he gets going, but I think Holgate, his pace and he's just calm on the ball. He's been really good the last 2 games. You know,
Yeah,
goal
definitely.
and assist as well.
Exactly. Get those likes up, 150 of you. Let's get it to 100 likes, please. Thank you very much. It takes 1 second to do it. Gareth Hughes said, I'd have Gylfi on the pitch if they introduce special teams like kickers in NFL, so you could just bring him on to whip corners and free kicks in. He's far too slow in open play. That's from Gareth Hughes. You're right, he's got loads of marvellous technique, Gylfi. He can crack one in from 30 yards. But for me, just not doing enough in open play at the moment. Matty K says, nothing to do with Everton, but what do you think of Xhaka? The situation at Arsenal wasn't great, was it? Obviously, the lad himself very upset with it. Torreira was very upset as well on the touchline with the whole situation. It's not great, is it? Listen, I'm not an Arsenal season ticket holder, so I wouldn't sit here and pontificate on what Arsenal fans should do or shouldn't do. But what I would say is, I'm not sure I've ever seen a player respond brilliantly to getting booed.
Yeah.
By his own fans, by the opposition. Okay, but I don't know. I mean, what do you make of it?
No, I thought it was a bit harsh from the fans. Like, I don't know if he's done anything else apart from just play badly for them to boo him like that. So I think it did seem harsh. Unless he has done something. I don't know if he said something or if he's just played badly and they just want to boo him. So I think that it was harsh from the fans, and then his reaction, I think he could have handled it better.
Yeah.
I think they'll just...
Well, it gives them a reason, doesn't it? Gives them another reason to...
Like, they're never gonna like him now, and he's pretty much finished probably as an Arsenal player.
And he's the captain, isn't he?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not a great situation to be in, is it? Be interesting to see if he plays tonight, actually, at Liverpool in the Cup. Livevid rather, says, OK, it's Liverpool, but how long did it take to get Klopp after sacking managers? Well, they sacked Rodgers because they had Klopp, didn't he? Tom says, what do you make of Walcott's sudden new lease of life? That bump on his head has made him think he's 21 again. Yeah. I think he's been excellent. I think he had a sit-down with the manager, didn't he? And was obviously given some home truths about what he had to do. And he's responded in exactly the right way. And he's been, last couple of games, he's been really good. Simon Boyle says, I thought we need a leader on the pitch, someone like a big dunk or Gravison. We do need a leader. I was hoping Delph would be it, whether he's just not been here long enough or not played enough games. I don't know. I think Mina can be a leader, but I don't know. AK89, looking at Brighton in the context of the Watford and West Ham games, do you think we have more things right at Everton than wrong? It's just a matter of ironing out details, costing us, owner marking, etc. Listen, the Brighton game. Well, I suppose after Tottenham and Southampton, we'll be able to look at the Brighton game and put it into context. If Everton listen, in an ideal world, we'll get 6 points out the next 2 games, right? But if Everton get 4 points out the next 6, and that Brighton game's the only defeat in between international breaks, because that's how we've gone so far this season. In international breaks, haven't we? We've had won a game, had an international break, lost every game, had an international break, won a game. So if we get the next couple where we're unbeaten, then we might be able to say, well, since that West Ham game, we've been better. We've lost 1 game in 5 or whatever it is. If we lose one of the next 2, then the Brighton game becomes part of the problem, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's quite hard to judge the Brighton game because, especially with the VAR thing and then Bernard's injury and then Sigurdsson coming on, which was probably the wrong decision. I think you don't know how it would have gone if Bernard didn't get injured and Iwobi stayed in the middle, because I thought he looked quite good early on. So I don't know.
We did change the whole thing, didn't we?
Yeah.
Glenn Watson, you hosted a dinner party with 1 current former Everton player, 1 ex-Everton manager, and 1 celebrity supporter. It's Halloween, you can bring anyone back from the dead. Wow. Current or former Everton player?
I don't know.
Tough. Everton manager, Howard Kendall. Celebrity Everton supporter, Paul McCartney. Even though he doesn't really support Everton, but it'd be interesting to have a chat with him. And 1 current or former Everton player. Kale. Go Kale. And anyone back from the dead. Dixie Dean.
Yeah.
Dixie Dean, just to ask him what he thinks about modern day strikers. Yeah. Does he think he'd get at least 30 goals in this modern day era? That's a tough one, that, Glenn. It's a tough one. Where are we? Matt Devereux, do you think Coleman will start on Sunday or will it be Sidibe?
I think it'll be Sidibe. I think with how Coleman played last night, I think he did struggle. And also it felt like Sidibe was just being rested as well. So
I agree. It'd be Sidibe for me.
Yeah.
Sophie Gallagher, on Sunday, it's the same score as last season at Goodison v Spurs. Silva won't survive. He won't. If Everton lost 6-2, he will be out of a job. Tom says, when Coleman plays, we basically have only one side. We go down all game. How can that happen in a professional football match? We simply have to play Sidibe from now on. Christian Kiss says, hail and 2 beers. Ford 8193 says, Josie is a winner, bring him in. Christian Kiss says, Everton 2, Spurs 1. Mark says, great shout that Richie blew the 3-on-1 when all they had to do was slip it to Kean, who was unmarked. He was. Ian Lyons said, first half was rubbish, second half was better. Where are we? AJ, no one gone. I hate this, the way it jumps.
Yeah.
Ford 8193 says, Baz, Jose's a winner, bring him in. Yeah, I'm not, listen, you know that I'm not against bringing in Josie. Stephen Soy says, not all about results, it's about performance, and the home games are papering over the cracks. Kiko1 says, do you think Yerry will be fit for Spurs? First time being on live at 5. Welcome. Well, the manager seems to think he's got half a chance of playing at the weekend. Apparently he was fine before and fine after, but he felt it near the half, so he went off. So hopefully he'll be fit. Eugene McGeever says, good win for Everton last night against Watford. Stephen Troy says, nobody mentions this, but maybe Gylfi should have gone and Wayne should have stayed. Possibly. AJ No says, say Rafa is out of the question and Silva goes, who do you want as next Everton manager? I'd try and get Mourinho, personally, but who would you want?
I don't know, my pick would have been Rafa, but obviously the question says we can't have him. I would have liked Rafa in the summer because I think his contract would be difficult to get out of in China. So maybe like a temporary manager from now until the summer.
Okay.
See how that goes. And then maybe look at Rafa in the summer, but I don't know who else apart from Rafa. I'm not sure really.
It's a really tough one, this, because ideally what we want is we want it all just relax with a manager who's here long term, don't we? And we keep going on about that, but I suppose it's what's really difficult is seeing other teams have that long-term plan and implementing it and it working, and us not being able to. People say, let's get a young manager in and give him X amount of years. Well, we've got a young manager in now and no one wants to give him any longer because we're not seeing it. So I think for the manager to come in, results have to be of a level where you can buy into it and then hopefully he develops his game plan. But I don't know. Teddy Sass says, a win is a win, but I'm going to piss on people's chips. That was abysmal last night against a terrible team who were turning up out of duty and wanting to be put to the sword. I'm bored of this manager. What's he doing with Kean? He's going to ruin him. This is a player with undoubted pedigree. We were all excited, and the way he's being treated is negligence. The choice to start Mina obviously hasn't learned from Gbamin. I can't invest my emotions in the team at the minute, and that's the best part about the game. I was sitting there last night and for 95% of the game I wasn't asked. I'm doubting myself at what I'm seeing because a lot of people seem to be happy with us plodding along, but I think it's horrendous. If people are happy with the league form, being on flames and crawling over the line in the last 8 of this cup against Watford, fair enough, but I don't understand it. Nothing personal with Marco. He seems a nice fella, but he's not good enough for what we want to achieve. And I think dragging it out is torture. Teddy not mincing his words there.
No. I do agree, though, last night was a poor performance, to be fair. And, yeah. What can you say?
There's not much to say to that, is there?
No.
You know, Teddy's... I get what he's saying.
Yeah.
I get what he's saying. I don't know why. I don't know what the plan is. I keep hoping that it just clicks for Marco and we can get something going, but it just seems so disjointed at the moment. People are... Everything's... Where is the end of the season, the last 3 months, everything felt like we were going in the same direction.
Yeah.
It felt like we come through that bad spell. We'd all, you know, even though there was people wanting them out in January and February because things were poor, we resisted it. And we come out of that, and then we finished the season quite strongly, really. Some great wins. The fans were the originals, and the fans were on side, and it was all bubbling along nicely. And I've said this before, but it seems like we've started this season, and it feels like it's his first season again. So it feels like everything we developed has gone. And so we're all looking and going, there's no progression, there's no path. It just seems like, when you watch Everton, it seems like you've got 11 good players and just go and try and see if you can win a game of football. Because the talent is quite clearly there, but there's no direction, no pattern. That's how it feels.
I think it is a good squad, and people criticise their recruitment, but I think last summer the recruitment was good. If you look at the best players from last season, a lot of them were the new signings. And the only one who wasn't was Yerry Mina, who was injured a lot. And he's been the best player this season.
Yeah.
And then you look at the signings in the summer have done pretty well so far, apart from Gbamin, who's been injured. So it is a talented squad, it's just not quite clicking at the moment. And it's hard to see sort of what the manager's trying to do. But I think we all hope most of us hope he turns it around. And we're just sort of waiting for and hoping things get better. And if they don't, then he'll be gone.
Do you think a different manager could get more out of this side?
I think so, yeah. So I do think that it is a good squad, and there's not really many areas within the team that you look at and say that they're not good enough. You think maybe at centre-back we could do with a centre-back with pace, but it's not really... Like, you look at Arsenal and you think, oh, their defence is terrible, they need new defenders. But with Everton, I don't really think there's that many holes within the squad. There's small things you can pick at, like with the right-back and the centre-back, but... I don't know. I just think they are underachieving at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. Darren Sean, the man with 2 names.
Yeah.
Quality. Says, hi, it's the man with 2 first names. Love the song. My missus was pissing herself the other night. Serious question, though, boys. It was very clear we lacked balance last night, and I really think we should bring Anthony Gordon into the playing squad. I love watching the younger lads play, and he's streets ahead of the rest. I think he would help the unbalance in our team. I don't know. He looks like a real talent. I'd have liked to have seen him on the bench last night, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because I think if you can't get him on the bench in games like that, when are you going to take the plunge in the Premier League? He's obviously put stuff out on Instagram about being patient. You know, he's training with the first team every day. He was in the squad last night, just didn't make the 18. I think it's got to be close to seeing him in the matchday squad. And sometimes a manager has to show a little bit of balls and go, you know what, I'm putting him in because this kid's fresh and he's going to give an injection of life into this squad maybe, and maybe just having him there gives everybody a boost.
Yeah, I think I would have had him on the bench last night as an option, because you look like by the second half he'd already made 2 changes, and then realistically the only player he would have brought on, I don't think he did make a 3rd change, but did he? But he
did. He brought Toffee on, didn't he, at the end?
Oh yeah. Do you think Gordon would have maybe brought something different, and there wasn't really anyone? Those are like Sigurdsson and Davis, but maybe for that bit of trickery and goals, maybe could have given him a go.
Yeah. John Russell says, what do you guys think with regards to the repeated underperformance of the players over a long period? It's frustrating, John, basically. I think Billy's just said it there, that there's a good amount of quality in the squad, good ability, but the underperforming is a real worry. And I don't know whether that's a mentality issue with the players. I don't know whether it's not understanding the game plan properly, whether it's a lack of confidence, probably all of the above. But I suppose it's up to the manager as well, isn't it? It's up to the manager to get that out of it. And if he can't, then obviously we maybe need to move on. Where are we? Philip says, thoughts on John Meadows saying Kean is really bad and not suited to this league and never will be. John's entitled to his opinion. I think he's wrong. John's made some wild and outlandish claims in his Twitter career. But I think he's wrong. I think certainly at the moment, I think it's too early to judge. I think we have to see Moise Kean through the middle over a period of time to judge whether he can do it or he can't do it.
I just think it's far too early to be making conclusions like that. To be saying someone will be never good enough or suited to the Premier League when they're just 19, when they'll be playing for another 15 years probably. You just can't make those sort of conclusions after such a short period of time. Yeah,
especially when he's done well. He scored 2 goals in 3 games for Italy as well, for the full team. And scored goals for Juventus and scored goals for Verona. So, let's just see what happens. Steve Donahue says, hi lads, been away on holiday, caught up with some vids while I was away. Baz, you were saying some of Silva's problems are the way the modern footballer has power, i.e. can't bollock them, which is a good point. But what about that person across the road who took over a poor Liverpool side and has done well? Even Brendan Rodgers has done well with Leicester, and they are both motivating managers. You know what? There is an argument there for you, an argument against what I was saying. What I was saying was some footballers are just the way they are, modern day footballers. Now that isn't for me to say that Jurgen Klopp took over Everton, he wouldn't get more out of them, because he probably would. But what I was trying to say was, if Marco Silva isn't that type of character, I just think sometimes it's dead easy to level criticism at a manager. I'm not saying Silva isn't to blame, by the way. That's a different thing. I'm just saying, with people, sometimes when you're looking at managers, the first thing you go to is them, and we just go, get rid of him. And all of these lads who are paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a week are getting away with it. They go out and underperform. What Klopp's done really well at Liverpool is he's united them all and unified them and made them. And listen, he's won stuff and he's a character. So, and you know what? You know what else? He's a big fella as well. So I think the way he is, he probably puts a little bit of the fear of God into you at times, and also motivates. Now, I don't know whether Marco Silva's that type of person. He probably isn't. Quite clearly he isn't. I think Pep Guardiola does it in a different way. He's so decorated as a coach and so knowledgeable that players will listen to him. He's got a very, very strict way of playing, and you're have to adhere to that or you're out the team. He's worked with big characters. The other thing, you've mentioned Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers is a little bit like Martinez in terms of giving people loads of confidence, telling them they're the greatest footballers in the world. And that might work in the Premier League, it might not. It's working at the moment. We'll see if it's working in 12 months. But he's also got a really good centre forward in Jamie Vardy, who who sets the tone for that Leicester City side. I think one thing all three of those managers do have that potentially Marco Silva doesn't have is a set way of playing. You know each one of their style. Pep is coach, pass, rondos all over the place. Yeah. Rodgers is attacking football, and Jurgen Klopp's hype press and heavy metal football, as he calls it, and all of that. So they've got that imprint on their teams, and all three of them have got a lot of experience now. Rodgers has done it before in the Premier League. With Liverpool, obviously, he's been successful with Celtic. He's come out to Leicester. Pep's won everything, and Klopp's won a lot and got that. Whereas Marco is still a relatively young manager. I don't know whether those players like him. A question for you, right, is that obviously we hear Silva's a great training ground manager. He's this, he's that. Do you think he can be a great training ground manager, but might not necessarily be able to convey that to them in a match? Or he's great at the preparation style, but the minute a variable happens in a game, he doesn't know how to deal with it. Do you think there's the possibility of that? Or
I think potentially, yeah, because I think we've seen quite a lot where we're in games and he makes a change and it's not the right change with substitutions or a tactical change. I don't know, I think there is a difference between there's types of managers who are sort of man managers and ones who are just more tactical and like tactical coaches, if you like. And it's difficult to know whether he is just sort of a training ground manager and not motivating the players. We don't really know yet. No. I guess he's still very young, so he's probably still learning as a manager and sort of developing as a manager as well. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say at the moment, but I don't know.
No, it is. It's mad. Darren Sean says, I agree with Baz. The players have to and must take responsibility for their own form. Players, please take responsibility for your own performance. I watched Roy Keane the other day, and Sky said he was motivated by his own performance. He knew he had to up his game and take responsibility and not wait for someone to tell him. Teddy Sass says, Baz, I love you, mate. You've got a voice, and I think people backing Silva are part of the problem. Wonder why we've been shy for so many years when we're backing someone who very clearly isn't cut out for the job. I'm all for loyalty, but blind loyalty I don't understand. There's no blind loyalty from me, Teddy. What I'm saying is he a good coach? Apparently he is. Do we have a ready-made replacement to overtake him, to bring him in? I've said, and I won't apologise for this, is that if there is a manager there who you can guarantee me is better than Marco Silva, go and get him. I've already said that. I've Jose Mourinho, who quite clearly is more decorated than Marco. But what I don't want is to just sack him for the sake of it. Go and bring another gambling like Marcelino or someone like that who might work or might not work. And we're in this boat again in a year's time. So if we're going to sack him, that's fine. But let's do it with a plan. Let's do it with a little bit more of a sure thing than just flipping a coin and hoping that the next one does the same thing. 3 points off 7. Southampton I've watched a few times this season are abominable and 2 points behind us. I know they are, but I'm just making a factual thing. It's 5 points off 7th, isn't it, or something like that. If we win at the weekend, we'd be closer to Spurs. I'm just showing you that after the top 4, the league is still pretty much bunched together, which means we have to make a move now to salvage something from the season. Darren Sean says, let's just sack him. What's the solution then? Exactly. Billy and Baz, this is off Mark. Do you rate Arteta as a potential manager? Billy, go on. You can deal with that.
Well, we don't know how good he is as a manager yet because he's never managed. He's only just been assistant at Man City. I don't know if they would let him go, Man City, particularly halfway through a season. But it'd be interesting, I think. I think it might be, you look at Chelsea at the moment, it's quite easy to be sort of envious of what they're doing with a manager the fans can all get behind. He's obviously a former player, everyone loves him. And then promoting young players, playing good football. You'd hope with someone like Arteta, if he was to come in, that'd be a similar sort of thing. But I think the big thing with Arteta would be like the fans backing him. Like with Silva, with the way Silva is, the fans don't really care for him. They don't really like him or dislike him too much. Whereas you look at other clubs where they really get behind the manager, and you would want that at Everton, I think. So it's hard to know how good Arteta would be. It would be a risk, obviously, particularly where we are in the table at the moment. I don't know. Maybe once there's more stability at the club, it'd be a good idea to look at someone like that.
Trying to get him out of there as well. British CPA says, Baz, where can I go on Twitter to get all the latest news on films and TV? That also has a podcast. The Nerds social podcast is a good one. Try that one, Aaron. That's quite a good one. Get these likes up. Come on, there's 250 of you. Just click the like, the thumbs up. It takes a second. Come on, get that to 100. Thomas Stone says, Holgate man of the match even before the goal. I have to say, though, I'm fed up and bored of watching Everton at the moment. It's the same every game. Goalkeeper, back four and 2 holding midfielders, passing it round pointlessly. EFC Blue Nose 1 says, pay whatever it takes to get Mourinho. John Broaders says, some of our players are not Premier League players. We need a Peter Reid or Andy Gray. We do need a real strong character in that side, without a shadow of a doubt. Paul Thornton says, I just can't see it with Silva. He can't string 3 wins in a row, and that's what we need to be in the top 6. That's the question mark, isn't it? That is the real thing, is that you can't put any kind of runs together. You're never going to achieve anything. Stephen Troy says, it might have been better if we'd lost last night. Stay it wouldn't, because at least we're in the quarter-final. If the league form drops off, they'll replace him anyway, but then the club will still be in the quarter-final. You can't ever... I know you said you don't want Everton to lose. Don't do that, mate. Tony Miguel, here he is, big toe. Hi, everyone. Great to get through, but still time for the board to decide where they want to take us. Whenever a managerial change happens, I hope we aim for someone special. We have to. We've got to go for better. If there's a better manager out there, we have to go and try and get him then. But there's no point replacing Marco Silva just with anybody for the sake of it. It's got to be better than what we have. Now, Mourinho's there. I've seen him linked with the Arsenal job today. You know, Arsenal are 5th in the league, and they're playing in a cup competition tonight and are still in the Europa League. And people are talking about getting rid of Emery when they're 5th and linking it with Mourinho. Mourinho wants a Premier League job. That's why I believe Everton could get him. Yeah. But sitting on your hands and hoping. Someone said to me, it's one thing giving managers time, but it's absolutely the wrong thing giving the wrong manager time. Now, Everton have to decide if Marco Silva's the right manager or the wrong manager. But he will be the wrong manager if he can't put more than 1 win together. He has to string 3 or 4 wins together. How can you not do that? Frank Lampard's been in a job for 5 minutes and they've won 7 games on the run.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what we've got to sort out. The Bruce says, Moise Kean needs a run through the middle, helped by Richarlison and Bernardi will come through for us. Yeah, I think we will. Paul Evans says Pickford only plays because he's England's number 1. I don't know. Big Nozza says Marco can't always take the blame. Players must take more responsibility. No one runs with the ball, taking on defenders or putting them on the back foot. Well, there is that, definitely. Steve Gray says, any news about what is going on with Lewis Gibson and a new contract? A standoff at the moment, I believe. Everton will offer him a new contract. It's up to him to sign it. And if not, whoever buys him will have to pay a decent amount of money for him because he's been offered a contract. Paul Evans thinks we'll beat Spurs. Michael Winstanley says, Billy from behind the camera. That's right. Mark G thinks it's either 2-1 to us or 4-1 to Spurs. Okay. Matthew McHale says, if Marco Silva was to get sacked, and we did try and get Jose Mourinho, the only problem is that he only lasts 3 seasons. Look at Madrid, United and Inter. What he would do, though, I suppose, is he'd get us to a certain level, which would be top 6 or 7. And then we'd be closer to moving into Bramley Moor with a stable project, wouldn't we? And then maybe we could then go for an Arteta type or someone like that. Yeah. Who knows? I mean, where else could he go after that? And who knows if he's working within a structure and he's given some money that he doesn't this doesn't become his Porto again. I suppose the question is, can he still do it? But he's a knowledgeable, decorated coach. If he gets a young coaching staff with him, then why wouldn't he be able to do it? Sophie Gallagher says apparently Mourinho wants a job in English football. Michael Winstanley rather says, yes, Matthew, but he wins something in his first 18 months. I'd have to worry about the 3 years when it happens. 22 likes for 100. Just saying, 265 here. Do it now. Coleman showed how to defend 1-0 up. Cedarby nowhere to be seen for Brighton's winner. He wasn't Cedarby, but also why didn't one of the 5 midfielders we have on come across to the right? Eugene McGeever says, how about Roy Keane as the new Everton manager? No, he gets a cob on with everyone, Keane.
Yeah.
And it falls out with people. Mark G says, Phil blamed Gylfi for turning it over. He did turn it over ridiculously. Neither Davis or Delph sitting in for cover. Hardly Cedarby's fault when pressing to try and win. Big Nozzer says, sick of hearing this Arteta nonsense. If Everton get rid of Silva, we need an A-listed manager. We have the money now, bring in a big name. In my opinion, should have happened in the first place. Well, it is that. You've got to look at it. Me and Billy are doing 5 more minutes. But what we would say is, Bill, when you've got a big project, surely one of the most sensible things to do is get in a top-level manager who's used to handling big projects.
Yeah, I think if you look at since Moise, I think we've taken quite a lot of risks with younger managers like Martinez, Koeman, and Silva. They've all done quite well initially, and then struggled after that. And it would be nice to have whoever the next manager is, have someone who is sort of more proven as being successful and can be there in the long term. I don't know who that is. If that is a Mourinho, but then he wouldn't be very long term.
Yeah,
or a Benitez maybe.
But it's getting us on a stable footing though.
Yeah.
At the moment, it just seems like we're just knocking around, hoping something works.
Yeah, and I think at the moment it's like going into each season. There's no sort of faith that things will go well. You know, even going into this season, I wasn't confident that it would be a good season because of, you know, we did well with Martinez in the first season and then struggled after that, and then
Koeman and
you just want that sort of consistency and stability now.
Mad. Bruce says, because it's Spurs, a loss won't see them bin Silva. Michael Winstanley says, Roy Keane, imagine if he could get it right, I'd like that, but it's a huge risk, so it's a no. Michael Winstanley says, to me, it's about employing the right coaches. If Josie brings the right team, then why not? Rich Osborne says, Mourinho will bankrupt us. Trainer says, if we had Roy and Dunk on the managing team, people would be scared to come to Everton. Sophie thinks Mourinho would change the whole mentality of the club. AJ Nosa, would you take the River Plate manager? Gallardo, he's highly rated. He's supposedly on Barcelona's radar, but I don't know. Tom says, why is Tony Grant so bitter towards Marcel Brands? Yes, Marcel Brands sacked him, basically. Where are we? Dominic Cecilia says, when's the draw? Tomorrow morning at 8:45 on Zoe Ball's Radio 2 show, apparently. Michael Winstanley says, we need a higher level of manager to get the best out of a talented squad. Eric Anders says, I want Eddie Howe. He plays a good brand of football, develops good players, and he's an Everton fan. I don't. He's Martinez for me. He can't defend. Where are we here? Mark G says, we could have paid for a 5-year contract for Josie with all the managers we've had. Exactly. Eric Anders would take Pochettino. I think a lot would, to be honest. And finally, on Patreon, before we finish, come on, 13 here on YouTube. 13 thumbs up. Come on, get it to 100 likes. Stop this nonsense behaviour. No, not there. Where are we? Is it gone? Where's it gone? Simon Rouse says, I'm a little concerned that... Oh my God. Hello, Si. I'm a little concerned that this far into the season and Keane has hardly had a sniff. I don't want him to be another Lookman as he needs a good run. Plenty of players have come in for another country and fitted in quickly, but unless you get game time, it won't happen. Correct, Si? Kane has just said Sky have tweeted Mourinho keen to return to England. Mark G says Marcelino is intriguing, took Valencia from 12th to back-to-back finishes in 4th. He's also been sacked 4 times in 7 years. John Russell says, do you think our previous number 2 to Silva had more influence on the team? Seems like he probably did. And Graham Price says, do you think we could try Moise Kean in behind the front 3 or a 2 instead of on the wing, which would allow him to run on and link us up quickly? This would let him loose, run on goal. Just a thought, Sigurdsson is not playing well, Bernardo's injured, and we can rotate him with a Iwobi. I think he wants to play higher up the pitch, Graham.
Yeah, I think I'm quite happy with Iwobi in behind the striker at the moment, and I think with Moise Kean last night, I think he was just too far out wide.
Yeah.
I don't really have a problem with him playing like slightly to the right. So I think you look at a lot of strikers who have pace, sort of for a few years they sort of play slightly out wide. You even look at Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, who's more of a striker really. In order to get those games, sometimes it's good to have minutes out wide.
Rashford's done it for United, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Rashford plays out wide. Now they're trying him through the middle. But I think for me, it's okay playing him on the right, but I think you want to play him high up the pitch, but narrower. Last night, he was hugging the touchline. I think if he would have been with Sidibe, he'd have come in naturally, because Sidibe likes to go on the outside of it. He'd have pushed him inside. I just think playing him as a right winger doesn't work.
No. I think we want to have a situation where you look at how City and Liverpool play with their full-backs really high. We've got Sidibe and Luka Dean. We want to have them push really high, almost like the wingers, and then the front 3 sort of all together with the wider ones tucked in a bit.
Yeah, definitely. And then you've got men in the box then.
Yeah.
Right, where are we? Tom says, has Marcel Brands improved the scouting system since he's been here, Baz? It's too early to say, Tom, is the reality. I think he's doing it. I think with Marcel Brands, it's going to be 3 years probably since he'll have started, not 3 years from now. So we're what, 16, 17 months. Certainly by the summer, things will have started to turn a bit more. Probably by next Christmas, we'll know exactly where we're up to with him. But he's put a lot of stuff in place, and obviously it looks like he might be getting that Shakhtar Donetsk fella in as well. Hopefully you would hope that would happen. Eugene McGeever says, who would you get rid of in January if you were the Everton manager? Tosin. Jack, do you think Mashiri overall has had a positive impact on the club? Go ahead, Billy, I'll let you.
Mashiri?
Yeah.
Well, I think he has, yeah. It's just a case of how his funds have been spent more than anything. I think under Moyes, like not having the money was almost an excuse, but we did well, but that was always sort of the thing we pointed to as why we weren't a top 4 side. But it's not a bad thing to have money, obviously. It's just how that money's spent, and I think particularly under Steve Walsh, that money wasn't well spent. And but I think things have changed a bit now with Brands in charge, because even you look at the prices that we've paid for players, it's even less than what was spent under Koeman, even though we're in a more inflated market now. So I don't think Mashiri's... It's not really Mashiri's fault, really.
No, Mashiri's been positive, and if Mashiri delivers the stadium, which I believe he will, then he's been a massive positive for us, because it's what we need. Eric Anders says, which year is the new stadium done? It's 2023. Ignore Mark G. Brother_Abel says, Holgate and Mina need to start together. Spot on. Absolutely agree with that. Right, that is it from me and Billy. We're going to go and have our tea. Big thanks to everyone for joining us tonight on Live at 5. Patrons, we will see you tomorrow for Live at 5 as well. For everybody else, YouTube, thanks for the likes. Keep them coming if you're watching this on the playback. Keep those likes coming. It really does help. And otherwise, I'll see you all next week. Big thanks to Billy for joining us. We'll get Billy back on again. Don't worry about that. Thanks very much for watching. Me and Billy, like I said, are going to go and have our tea. So see you later.